Welcome to Techstination. Joining us is Finley Lee, the CEO of Alien Skin Software. Thank you for joining us again, Finley.
Thank you, Fred. It's good to be here.
Well, it's an exciting week for you. You've got a brand new update to your exposure software. It's called Exposure 4.5. Give us the overview of, first of all, what it is, what the software can do, and what's new here.
Sure. So Exposure X4 is our creative photo editor, and it does all kinds of raw photo editing. You can use it to organize your images, and you can use it to add creative looks to your images, especially ones that give analog looks like you get from shooting on film or processing film in a darkroom.
So step us through what is brand new in this update.
Absolutely. We released Exposure X4 in September of last year, and Exposure X 4.5, which we just released yesterday, is a new update that's free to those people who already own Exposure X4. One of the biggest features is the addition of LUTs, or the ability to process images with LUTs. So LUTs are these recipes for transforming colors in an image that got really popular in the videography world, and they're a way to exchange those looks around between different environments. And so now you can use those LUTs in Exposure. There's a ton of them that are out there for free on the internet, and there's some commercial services that provide really nice LUTs that you can use. And they're a great way to achieve lots of beautiful looks, a lot of them cinematic, but there's really a lot of variety there. So it's a great way for people to creatively explore new looks for their images.
And beyond that, there are more new features as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The next one that I'd like to mention is the new copy photos from card dialog. And this is really one that was driven by a lot of customer feedback. Previously, you'd be able to bring over images from a photo card, but wouldn't be able to see them as you're bringing them in. Now you can select images and choose them visually. So you can do a little bit of culling before you even get the images onto your computer. And in addition to that, it's got a new redesigned user interface that's even easier to use. You can apply keywords, any of Exposure's organizational attributes as you're bringing images over, and even apply creative looks as you're bringing images over as well. So it just is a time saver and a great way to streamline your workflow. Beyond that, we've added configurable keyboard shortcuts, which are relevant to a couple types of user. People coming over from Lightroom can use a preset that changes the keyboard layout to be keys that are familiar to them. So it really eases the transition from Lightroom if you're switching. And also it helps out international users who sometimes have keyboard layouts that don't work well with Exposure's built-in keyboard layout. So this allows them to customize their keys and work efficiently as well.
Who's your typical customer, Finley?
It's a big variety. I typically say people who shoot cameras that have interchangeable lenses and edit photos on a computer. And within that, of course, it's a lot of people, so there's a lot of variety. But we have landscape photographers that use Exposure, portrait photographers, avid hobbyists. It's really all over the board.
What are the key advantages that they find with your software over the competition?
I think that the crowning jewel in Exposure's abilities is the library of beautiful looks that you get with it. There's a huge library. It's over 500 presets now, and they really have looks that span the kinds of things you want to do with your photos. And of course, they're very easy to use. So you just install Exposure, point it at your photos, and then these looks they're accessible with one click. And so once you get looks that you like, you can further customize them with Exposure's editing panels. But really, you have a ton of power that's available just with a couple clicks.
And when you say you get different looks, for people who are wondering what you mean, give us some examples.
Okay, so there are film looks, a huge variety of looks that mimic specific film stocks that were used years ago. Of course, few people shoot on film these days, but the looks that you could get from those film stocks are still very relevant. Good example is Kodak's Kodachrome look, which I love to use on my landscape photos. It gives a saturation pop that is really just beautiful, and memorable. They're also black and white looks. We have a lot of street photographers who like to explore black and white photography. And so films like Tri-X are really perfect for that. You get grainy looks, you get contrasty looks. It's really a lot to explore.
And you can be singing along, "Don't Take My Kodachrome Away," as you're using it.
That's right.
Terrific. So this is available as a standalone or with a bundle too. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so there's a couple ways that you can use Exposure. Of course, it's a standalone program, and it works with Photoshop or Lightroom if you prefer to use it in those environments. The bundle takes Exposure and includes our blow-up resizing application and our SnapArt creative artifacts application, and combines them together so that you can run those two applications through Exposure as the main editor.
And how does pricing work?
For Exposure by itself, I believe it's $119, and for the bundle is $149. And of course, we have discounted pricing that's available for existing customers.
Terrific. And the best place to go is going to be where for more info?
It's going to be alienskin.com. That's where you'll find information about our products and our store, so you can purchase when you're ready.
And we've talked about this before, but people hearing you for the first time here perhaps are wondering, what's the name Alien Skin all about?
So that's a story that goes back in history. The very first product that Alien Skin did was a program that would produce procedural textures. So these are computer-generated textures that you could take and they would tile together. And many of them looked unusual and outworldly, like alien skin. So that was the inspiration for the name of the company. And of course, it stuck throughout the years. And of course, we're well known in the graphic design and photography space using that name. So it's a little bit of a funny name, but we love it.
Again, it's Exposure X 4.5 from Alien Skin Software. Finley Lee, thanks for taking the time with us.
Thanks so much, Fred.
Now this. How many companies out there have continued to innovate when it comes to building a better radio? I'm Fred Fishkin, host of Techstination, and I'm here to tell you about the new CC Skywave SSB radio from the wonderful people at C. Crane. Bob and his crew really love radio, and it shows in this new compact model that is packed with features. Beyond great AM and FM reception and sound, you can tune into shortwave signals from around the world, listen to ham radio operators, aviation, and more. It's the radio you'll turn to every day, and in emergencies. It will run for nearly 3 days on just 2 AA batteries. Pair the sleep timer with the new Soft Speaker 3, and you've got the perfect radio for your nightstand. Of course, it can wake you up too. Click on Crane at Techstination.com and put in the code Techstination for a free flashlight with your order. They love radio, and you'll love C. Crane.